Hello everyone, this is Connor, back with more Islanders New Shores. Been a bit since I've recorded. This island here that we're looking at is island number 4 in a typical game 20 island run. And you'll see that over time, my high score in the pre-release period, the top of the leaderboard, has now slipped back considerably. And important to note, this score does not reflect end of island scoring. So this does not include the bulk of the points actually contributing to this. Now, in case that is not clear, we've discovered some new things. When I say we, I'm using the royal we. I was not involved. I guess maybe the peasant we? I was not involved in some of the discoveries leading to this. But the high score community of Islanders New Shores has been discovering some really powerful new technology. There's a new Boon in the game. There's also exciting news that New Shores is coming to mobile shortly. So you really can sink your entire life into this game. Love to see it. But this leaderboard position is not ideal for me. I would love to be able to see what kind of score I can get using the new technology, which contributed to this run and has created this run. But most of that technology comes down to scoring well on ley lines. Now, ley lines, every time that you score enough points on them, give you a sealed boon. And in this particular instance, this is the earliest that you can get a ley line. Ley lines are not available before Island 4. Now, this run is also good for a couple other reasons. The first one of which is that this is a terrace island. I would say for a first ley line, unlocking terrace with the ley line is ideal. You get an extra terrace, and terrace creates buildable space, which is important with ley lines. Um, Additionally, the other two buildings that I've unlocked this run are Verdure, which is excellent with Leyline because they take no real space, and Fortune Teller, which is just a great building in general. So far this run is going pretty well. The unfortunate thing is that it did take 4 rerolls to get this ley line, so I have no rerolls banked. And if I'm not able to also achieve a ley line on Island 6, I will need to restart this run because part of getting a score that high is getting as many sealed boons as possible, and that basically means getting a ley line on every single even numbered island. That being said, I have also realized recently that I think most of you who watch these videos don't watch these videos under the impression that I am the best player in the game, and if you do have that impression, I don't think you watch them because I am the best. Because to be clear, I'm not. I think most people watch these videos for the vibes and for my personality and to watch the game because it's relaxing and people fall asleep to the videos and things like that. So I'm going to try and decouple my own joy of the game from excellent performance. I'm still going to play my heart out, I'm still going to try hard, but I think I'm going to step back a little bit from the desire to get the absolute highest score and instead focus on having fun with the game and maybe recording a little more often. I think I've been stressing myself out a bit. With all the new techniques being discovered and new competitive players coming forward, it has been more difficult for me to find joy in recording the game. And I'm sure that all of you would enjoy more videos, even if I am not topping the leaderboard with them. So, on this particular island, my entire goal is maximizing points scored on the ley line. And when I say on the ley line, I mean like that 2 there, right? This building is now scoring on the ley line. In order to do that, I will need to maximize my overall score, because overall score gives you more buildings, but because it's only Island 4, the island's not going to last a huge amount of time. So overall, prioritizing the ley line is more important, and this is kind of an ideal ley line spawn. This is actually my 3rd attempt at doing this, because I had previous runs where my ley line was bad. One of them was a precipitous island, which is the type that gives you cliff houses constantly, and the ley line was like up on a little cliff and there was no room to build around it. And the other one was, I think, a tundra that the ley line was kind of blocked up on. I forget the exacts, but long story short, we're just going to be trying to maximize points on the ley line, and in so doing, also maximize island score. Love to see it. That is exactly what I would have chosen as my first option. Okay, so you might initially think, well, Connor, where are you going to put vergers? Are they going to go over here? Are they going to go on this big green area? The truth is they're going to go on the ley line. Every building is going to go on the ley line. So then we start thinking about, well, within that constraint, how am I going to maximize score of the vergers? So vergers are primarily high scoring because they contribute trees, and trees are high scoring on parks, on hermitages, on lumberjacks. Lots of stuff cares about trees. I don't have the mountain shrine unlocked yet, so I don't have to consider that. There are relatively few of the special buildings in my pool yet, but we can start out with things like this, which you see is both good scoring and creates a lot of nature. Um, there is, however, some complications with verger placement. So if I find a natural fish, vergers dislike fish. So once I create some fish spots, it'll be more difficult to place other verdure in that area. The same is true for flowers. So if I place fully on the land, you'll see that instead of that spot being a fish, it is a flower. And those flowers, which you can get four if you place it on stone sufficiently. This is sort of a quirk that I'm not going to explain all the details of, but both flowers and fish become negatives if I think about placing overlapping vergers. If I place one here, for example, the fish that would be right here would then count negatively against this verger and this one. So placing vergers in a way that intelligently spreads the flowers and fish out is the start of good verger math. I'm certainly will end up placing things like this, but currently trees are worth a lot more to me than fish because it's going to take a lot longer for me to get two fishers. So I'm actually going to trend towards the back of this area, I think. Also, fun fact, every verdure has a knowable pattern. So if you look at the shape of how things are being placed here in this open area, it's going to be that shape anywhere. So even if I'm placing in like a really constricted spot like this, where most of my trees can't appear, if you kind of mentally remember where each of those trees are, they are still present in this shape. So you can use an open area to kind of understand and evaluate the shape of your verdure and then drift it into the spot you actually want. And you can see that I am now utilizing that kind of 7 shape back into this place here. I don't actually, oh, and there's a few of these verdure shapes. It's not just like the same pattern every verdure. So there's a certain logic to trying to find a shape that ideally fits a particular spot. So that's enough talking. Time to start placing. Although actually 7 minutes for a first building placement might be a new record for me. So I want to try and either kill these flowers or block them or place them in such a way. I'm not as concerned about the actual score I'm getting from this building. I will have plenty of points to keep unlocking things. More concerned about the longevity of score. So if I could go back here and cancel a couple of these flowers, that would feel good, but it seems like that's not going to be possible. I can kill one flower by just placing it under the ley line. And maybe I do that over here. And, I mean, a spot like this feels pretty good, honestly. I think 6 trees isn't bad, and the flowers are really out of the way. So we'll start there, and you can see now this ley line is starting to score. That's progress towards a sealed boon. Now you see this is actually the same shape. This is also a 7. Maybe there's some slight variance, but... And because I distributed those flowers in the way that I did, I can now sort of place way up here if I wanted to. I don't know yet if that is what I want, but... This is canceling another flower underneath the ley line. I can also still place a ley line like here, or sorry, a verdure. Because those flowers are so far out, I left myself a lot of buildable here, which is good. That is 6 more trees in a very compact area. I know I said I'm prioritizing trees, but I'm not opposed to getting some fish down as well. That uses up very little space in a way that appeals to me. So I'm just going to try and fill this area with verdure. The lumber pack, I'm going to want to immediately go back to placing verdure. So if I take lumber and get like 2 verdure, that's pretty good. Seaweed is fun in that it uses very little space. But I will want to place like the seaweed farm here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off on placing fish until I already have seaweed down. Because fish are a negative on seaweed, and there's no need to place that verdure yet. I can find a different one that I feel equally good about. Maybe even better. So I don't want to leave a flower too far into the rest of this space. Maybe that means I take this 14 or a 13 and I can... Ooh, that actually is quite nice. And I can delete... I mean, this is the kind of high skill Islanders nuance that I'm really here for, is which of these is actually better. Is it worth 2 points to place a flower there? I don't think it is. I think it's quite close. Because even though the flower might end up being a... Oh, wait, no, I placed... Sorry, that was a little incorrect. I need to kill both flowers, both the one underneath the ley line and the one that was emergent on the stone. I mean, that's 6 trees. That's... Oh, and this is 7 trees? Wow. Nice. This flower is not ideal, because it does get in the way of, like, this placement, but it's just a -5, right? It's not like it does not completely cancel the score. And I don't imagine there's a way to get that flower much further in. Maybe a little bit, though. I mean, this is kind of fun. Just center it over the ley line. It's only 5 trees, though, which is certainly fewer than I would like. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Then I can place another, like, here, and yeah, plenty of space left. Then we'll start with seaweed. Good number of fields there. Okay, so every single building I place needs to score the ley line. And there will be a few exceptions, but like I'm doing this for sure. And in service to that, I don't know if I guess I start out here, because eventually some of these fields will not touch. Like I'm going to get more fields than I have space here to place adjacent to the ley line, so may as well create other places to place them. I can't avoid that situation. And just need to find a 13 that I feel good about. It's interesting that I get detection by lifting it up more, just because of how the sphere is centered on the farm. That feels pretty good. I don't have any double contact positions yet, but I will place a second one like here, and then I'll have some valuable spots, I suppose. I think this one is, the reason that I'm placing this farm first is that I think it is the likeliest to detect the other farms, which I want to avoid. Okay, so now, I still don't want to do fish yet. The fields themselves don't care about the fish, the farms just get a negative from them. But I will be placing more farms, so. Okay, 21 is an attractive score, but I don't like the flowers. I can go as far back as here. And then, okay, so see, this one is a different shape. It's like a big clump mostly here on the right side, or the top in this orientation. And I can place that big clump up in this gap like that, but I do want to be strategic with my flowers. Yeah, so there's some spots like this where a rock and a tree are both deleting flowers. So yes, it is a lower score because those flowers are being deleted, but also fewer flowers is good in principle. Maybe the shape would be better over here, or even like here. I can do this at some point, certainly. And a lot of these trees will end up getting killed by the other buildings I place. I'm aware of that. It's not a problem I really care to solve for. I think scoring your trees and then deleting them is totally fine given this circumstance. Like, given that I don't have a mountain shrine, it's only island 4, so I don't have an enormous runway of like how many parks am I really getting on this island, right? Um, Yeah, there's placements like this where it does create one unideal flower, but maybe at a certain point that's worth it. Okay, let's go with no fish yet. I'm going to hard line on that decision. So in that case, I want a placement over here that minimizes flowers as discussed, and that's not bad. These flowers are all far enough out from the center that I can still do... Oh, it's very close, but I can do this. To find exactly the right spot and then rotate this until it's good. I mean, a lot of these look pretty good. And I'm not even really tracking the score here because the score is fluctuating based on me canceling flowers, which is the goal. So I'm ultimately looking for maybe a lower score, just because the lower score is also fulfilling my key criteria. This is a little bit further down than I was previously placing, but it does let me cancel a flower easier. Scandalous. Dang, that's so close to being good. I can't quite kill that flower. It's also true that at some point I will get buildings which I can place on top of flowers, and that will destroy them. Let's do that. That flower's not long for this world, though. I will delete it as soon as I am able. So, delaying city. The buildings that cities score off of, like plateaus, is a key one. I would rather get earlier, before city if possible. So now you might immediately be drawn to placements like this. It's high scoring, but taking up space near the ley line is, I think, a mistake versus placing much further away but still detecting the ley line. Because remember, our only goal here is maximizing score on the ley line. Everything else falls secondary or tertiary to that. So I can do stuff like this. It's pretty darn defensible. Although I guess if I'm... Look at how densely I've gotten these flowers. That's pretty good. This verdure I don't maybe need to place yet because I'm definitely placing both lumberjacks to get 50 points. So if the verdure is not going to be relevant, let's see how many lumberjack points I have first. All right, so I want these to be as far back as possible without intruding on other buildings. This spot seems really good. It's a high score. It's at the very edge of detection range. It's nestled back here out of the way. Versus something like this, which would require a lot more setup to make good. It's also killing a flower, which might be relevant, positive or negative. And yeah, I think we can probably just take a 25. Killing that flower might be relevant as well. I will keep it in mind. And you know, I could do things like this, but again, that's just too close to the ley line. I would rather detect it from further away. Even like this, I'm kind of torn if 1 point makes a difference. So let's see how many points I can get from the verger now that we have a little more lumberjack information. Trying to detect the ley line, but not that little flower right next to it. It's a very precise placement. Oh, okay, come on. I mean, flower-wise, all of these are unideal, but this seems pretty good, honestly. That flowers at the coastline is very killable, and once that one dies, that spot won't feel very restricted anymore. So now I have much more defensible placements over here, but this one would not have detected any of those trees. 11 is enough, so let's actually take the most out of the way placement. Like, let's really prioritize leaving buildable space, and there is the first sealed boon of this run. Okay, Brewing Pack over City, 100%. Hops fields are very small and score 4 points on the ley line. That is a great ratio. Similarly, let's now hit one of these, right? If I can do it without killing that tree, I will, but I guess right here is actually fine. Now, I already have 6 of these, and even if I go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't think more than 5 are touching, so I can definitely afford to play some doubles over here if I need to. I might still try and avoid them. I think I can pretty safely lumberjack. So when you get to spaces like this, where it's like a large kind of square chunk, I wish I had a better building to demonstrate, but a large square chunk, I think it's sometimes really good to be intentional about leaving those for larger buildings. Like placing this, you know, blocks a huge amount of space versus squirreling it away in some little corner. I mean, even like this is a fairly squirreled up corner that I don't mind. Conversely, I have like an 8 over here. I think I need the points right now. Especially if I'm trying to hold off for a third seaweed farm, which might not be necessary or relevant, but I think 22 feels fine to me. And then I need to decide where these beauties are going. So I could go along here. I could box them all in over here. I think my first wall platform is going to have to come off of this just to get a little more buildable space near the ley line. So if my wall platform is over here, and maybe I stack a couple, I guess let's assume wall platform's going to be city. I think there's some odds that it ends up being like wheat field or something, but let's assume it's going to be city, and that means I can place this over here. Kill that flower that I previously mentioned is quite killable. So that flower is now gone and will not penalize future vergers. Now I only need 12 points, so I could do it with a verger pretty easily, especially if I'm willing to create some fish now. I think I am. I think I'm feeling a little fishier. And because I squashed a flower out here, I can even find like a pretty good placement. I mean, look at how many trees this is creating. Like that alone is very valuable. And this fish can be killed by a seaweed farm pretty easily if I decide that I want that. We will take Mason. It's good on the city center and it's good on Plateau. And third, seaweed farm. Just what I was hoping for. So downside, this spot. But upside, I mean, I guess I just take the -2 and like this is a really good spot. I guess the other problem is I might advance. I might not be able to place my seaweed fields close enough to still tag in, so I need to be aware of that. But I mean, a placement like this still allows a lot of contact, and I don't think it might create one triple. Yeah. And this triple was never going to be, there's no seaweed field that touches this farm and the ley line, so I don't really need to worry about that. I can just take a 23, and again, like I'm going to have enough seaweed fields to max out the water space along here. I mean, it might even be better to leave. It might even be better to leave a water platform. 3 points per is somewhat relevant. The seaweed fields, I mean. And I'm not getting sand on this island. There is no sand, so I'm not getting brickyards. So the Masons will not have brickyards to score off of, meaning that actually they're not waiting on anything, so the Masons are free placements. I'm trying to decide if I can defer this decision, which is always the key question of the game, right? Okay, let's kill one tree and place this. Maybe I'll leave enough space over here for a long detection building. I mean, maybe it's just this. And then I don't have a temple, so it's not in my pool, so I don't need to worry about temple maxing at all. These are only really most relevant, I would say, for plateaus and city centers. And my plateau is going to be like here, or maybe even here, actually. Maybe I assume plateau on the water. Maybe I save the seaweed farm, assume plateau on the water. That's not actually unreasonable. Okay, before I place that, let's do another verdure. I have really... Well, again, I need to be careful about fish. Little complicated. I'm hesitant to do things like this, because even though it's good, I don't want to block wall platform. So I need to be really careful about building low buildings in this area. And maybe not building at all, if I can avoid it. So... let's go, and I know this seems like I'm sort of overthinking these like minor sequencing things, but one sealed boon difference on this island could be a matter of 3 points on the ley line, right? Like every single point on the ley line might matter. It might not be the case. It might just be, you know, no matter how well I do, I end up 70 points short of a sealed boon. So like I'm not going to find 70 spare points because of one individual sequencing decision, but I might. Okay, only 20 points left to go, so I think maybe one verdure, one field feels like maybe an okay way to do that, and gonna prioritize trees still. You know what? Maybe I just assert confidence here and just place this and then start scoring the farms. Like it's a little bold. I don't think it's bad. I think multiple triple scoring seaweed farms, or fields, pardon, is going to give me a lot of range. And this does leave space for a plateau next to It is also like a little bit of prime real estate that I'm using here, right? Like this is spot on the mainland that I would maybe prefer to be able to place a building squared up right here, but okay, let's run it this way. I'm curious. Because now I have access to placements like this. And also, perhaps more importantly, at least right now, these triple scores. So I'm going to try and not miss any. I'm trying not to break out of the grid here. Sorry, those words really got caught in my brain. So I'm nervous that this is never going to contact the next farm. So let me go there. Yeah, this would not, this would, but neither of them touch the ley line. Okay, I think that's probably fine. Or actually, it's probably better to just build over here, even if it's a little out of grid. Yeah, let's go like that. Just delaying city. Another verdure is great. I think I might be able to place the lumberjack too. And I will delay lumberjack, but lighthouse, but it will be placed to score the ley line. Non-negotiable. Maybe even up here. That'd be kind of cool, actually, having like a high up lighthouse. Frequently, they don't end up in a spot that seems where a lighthouse might logically go. And I don't want to take the space over here feels like it's going to end up valuable, so I don't want to clog it up with masonry. Instead, I will clog up this spot. Okay. Now that I've placed farm, I can do more verdure. So, and I want to do these verdures before I place buildings in this area because I'd rather score the points on the trees before I block out those spots. But I now have enough buildings that I can kind of not worry about flowers. If I need to kill a couple flowers, I can. I could also just place for score. Like, that is not unreasonable. Let's look at this spot, actually. This seems fun. And I saw like a 15, yeah. 17 by getting that flower in. Feels like there should be a sneaky 18 where I managed to get one more tree out, but I'm not seeing it. And even this 17, like that, the fish spot that I'm creating right here is going to be a big problem. So let's just take a lower scoring one. I don't want to block my future verdures too badly. Okay, now I'm happy to just create fish with this one. I mean, I want trees as well. I don't mean exclusively create fish. I mean carelessly create fish when I say just. 15 points. Seeing all these red trees is breaking my heart, but sometimes that is how it is. This is better though, so let's get that 18 back. Whew, forgot to blink for a while there. Everyone who's watching, take a water and posture check. Make sure you are taking good care of your body and your mind. The two are inexorably linked. If your body is happier, you may find that your mind is happier as well. So while I struggle to place this verdure, sit up, stretch in your chair a little. Preferably stand, I mean, you know. you've got the standing desk set up, or maybe you can do some hamstring stretches while leaning on your desk and watching. Or perhaps you are laying on the couch, curled up like a shrimp over your phone. And all of this is irrelevant. Okay, I can't make that one work based on this shape of verdure. Oh, it's all like one big clump. That's interesting. Maybe I instead just lean into the clumping and place it over here. I can also start eating these -5 negatives at some point. It's just -5, but maybe that's not my priority. Tricky. I'm going to place that just because I'm confident that this fish is going to get killed at some point soonish. And now I think I've kind of blocked myself out of this area just for this final verdure for now. So I could kill some more trees. I could... Oh, I can squish the fish from the land. Like there's some ways that yeah, that kills that fishing spot even though it's not in the water. Interesting. I think prioritizing the trees here is fine. And then let's just hit one more of these. It's kind of easy and high scoring, which is what we love to see. Yeah, so that actually just, you probably saw it a little bit. It wasn't quite placed in alignment, but then it snapped underneath the structure here. Using snapping well is a big skill test. Farming pack. So farming is actually great on the ley line because the fields contribute 5 points, which is quite a bit, and they're not especially large. So I will be farming in from this direction, I believe, and I might just place those now. I mean, what am I waiting on, right? Yeah, let's hit that. So I'm trying to think about spacing here, where I have this kind of awkward, slightly larger than a field section here. I guess I could... I could do some clever diagonaling stuff through here, because as you can see, this clips into the ley line a little bit, and you can actually clip buildings even further into it by using snapping. This is just the geometry of the outside of the ley line, but because if I want to place this here, for example, oh, that's like already in grid. Wow, I can probably snap it way further. And I don't need to be this close to the ley line, but I think I'm going to place 2 layers deep. So I kind of can be that close, and it only has like a minuscule impact. Okay, so if I place here, I can still detect from there, and once this is down, I might be able to jump into the stone. So let me... I wish that I could check this some way more straightforwardly, but I think I can. Cancel, and then... Like, is that gonna clip fully into the ley line? Seems like maybe not quite. Seems like I'm asking a lot of it. Like an entire quarter of the building. That's probably close to the limit of how far over it'll skip, though. Okay, so that, I think, will snap into the ley line. And then this one will as well. Okay, yeah. I think I'm going to proceed with this. So it did not snap in. No. Okay, that's fine. Oh, and I actually got my first boon unlocked. Not the sealed boon, but a real boon. Ooh. So level up is extremely powerful. Level up is among the best boons in the game. It's up there with Blossom and Replace. And Replace is best under very specific circumstances. If you haven't seen Replace yet, it's from the new update. But Statue, however, is also very powerful, and because this is a leyline island, there's no statue conflict. I actually think I don't have Guild Hall yet to do Guild Hall inversion, which is another high skill technique. I'll talk about it at some point. I've demoed it a little in the past, but it will be in an island that I play as part of a 20 island high score run at some point. But I can't do very meaningful inversions yet for a lot of reasons. I kind of think Statue is a superior choice here. I think it's pretty close. I think Statue's fun as well. And I get a score like this, which is going to be really valuable for shooting through these early levels. Sometimes you just got to make the fun play. High scores around... Yeah, there we go. See, so that snapped into grid, which now lets me place another one. I guess I could have anyway, but place another here detecting it. And I'm sort of clipping into the ley line, meaning that I am taking up less space around it while still detecting it. Pretty cool. And for my next trick, I guess those did kill a few trees, so maybe I should have just statued already, but I don't. I don't think that's the play. I'm even tempted to like statue further away, but I also don't think that's the play. I mean, fundamentally, you should play statue early, so let me figure out where this thing's actually going, rather than just wasting the opportunity to score off of it in case it ends up like here or something silly. I don't have a temple to consider, so no need to worry about that. And I'm tempted to use some of this like scrungly ground, some of this placement where I'm otherwise not really going to be able to put a building. And if I'm doing this, are there any trees that I should place first? I mean, doesn't seem like it. These scores are awful because I've densely packed this area with flowers. So this statue or this one or this one, this I don't want to block the as described. I don't want to get in the way of any wall platform. Maybe like here. It's pretty central. This spot is not high value. I mean, maybe I would end up placing, I'm just using this for a side reference, I'm not trying to place it here, but maybe I would place like a lumberjack. Versus over here, this spot is like essentially unplaceable. A little bit lower scoring. I guess if I get 2 plateaus from my initial plateau drop, maybe I'd want to clip one in over here, but I think I'd still maybe just place it right here flat. Let's go with this. I'm not confident this is right, but I think there are too many factors for me to reasonably or easily estimate. So yeah, and I don't want to do like a verger up here just to increase the score. I need to verger on the ley line. And I actually think, yeah, literally every building I've placed so far, except for these 2 seaweed fields, has been on the ley line. Shaman. So Shaman's very good. It's a small building, and I have a lot of flowers in this area. I might try and hold it until this boon at least, because if I get a blossom, that absolutely blows Shaman out of the water. And I don't remember what boons I was taking last island. You can track boons island to island and keep track of what boons could be in your pool, but I'm simply not going to do that. You could, it would be better play. I'm not advocating for you skipping that step, but I am going to. So this is starting to encroach into an area that I'm a little worried, where I might be blocking, like maybe not my first wall platform, but like what about my second? What about my third? What about my fourth? Like I need to think about how pushing one wall platform an extra, inch on my screen over might mean that the one above it has to go up a tier and the one above that has to go up a tier. So it kind of has a cascading negative impact. I could just take a spot like this, although again, there's some concern about clipping plateaus. I could just not place the mason yet. Maybe it is simply field a clock. And see if I can clip this one inside somehow. Not like that. That does give you the sealed boon. It does not let you duplicate the points. Like scoring those points on the ley line again will not reward me that score twice. Which can be important with if you have a like negative temple placement that scores, or any negative building that scores the ley line, you can use the negative placement to get the boon and then undo it. I think there are very few instances where that would actually matter. And even then when I say actually matter, I mean a difference of like less than 100 points probably. But that is how the behavior works, and maybe someone else will figure out a way to utilize it that I have not. I'm going to avoid killing those trees. I kind of may as well place over here, I think. I don't really see an advantage to placing over here at the moment. And if that is the case, I can kill this flower. I'd really love to clip this into the ley line. But it looks like I might be a little too far out to do that. And because this is in half alignment, like see this is clicked perfectly to the half, so I don't think I'd be able to replace this previous one even if I had tried to. But yeah, that's not quite far enough in to snap. I will take it though. Or maybe I don't know, I guess I should start with the interior one. Just in case. Alright, did kill a flower for the shaman, which is not 0 significance, it's just low significance. Maybe I save these until I've killed all these flowers. Because they do need to go on the ley line. Could also just hops field and kill a few of these trees. I mean, if I end up getting blossom, that's bad, but it's probably just seaweed field. The correct play is always just place your seaweed fields. That's not true. That's not true. I'm just joking. I don't love either of these options. I think City Pack will dilute my pool too much, and I would rather get more fields, hops fields, verdures. So I'm going to stick to Fountain for now, and exactly for that reason. These are good scoring buildings, and they're getting a lot of points on the ley line, which again is my ultimate goal. So close. But I can do this. And then, oh, it jumped into alignment. That's fine, whatever. I guess you can actually disable jumping, so that would be slightly superior play. The default hotkey is C on PC, where you can hold it down and take full control of the building's placement. So you can actually, like, clip things a little more than you might think by doing that. Now, if I wanted to place this far out, I might be able to get a second one here. That actually, hold on. Hold the phone. So if I turn off clipping, and then try and find very precisely that is like right on the edge there, and not right on the edge here. Interesting. I could have sworn that I was right up on it, but I guess not. I can actually go all the way to there. This is a better angle to do this from than what I was using previously. And the reason that I'm doing it this way is that I'm trying to create a spot on the backside of this hop field that still detects the ley line. We will see if it is successful, but it's worth trying. Yeah, that's essentially clipped into both the buildings next to it. Fissure doesn't take up any space, and I did successfully create a placeable spot here that tags the ley line. Cool. And that actually snapped into grid, so it clipped well into this building. This spot here, ultimately irrelevant, but it would also be irrelevant on this side, so doesn't really, you know. 6 of one, half dozen the other. I suppose I wait in case I do more fish. There's also no rush for a fisher. Fishers score 6 points for each city center they detect, but each city center that detects a fisher does score 7. That is a 1-point advantage I might be able to get. I just feel like placing more seaweed fields. Let's go that way. Let's get any triples that are still remaining. There's probably 1 or 2 over here. And I might not try and take them with this thick shape because it's big and bad. But I do want at least a double, obviously. Yeah, none of those are going to be triples. Okay. I'd love to snap this into alignment, so let's full control. Nah, not gonna happen. Great scores, though. And I still have, you know, I can place them in here to... Well, actually, you know what? Still thinking about a plateau. But also thinking about this being a small shape, and therefore ideal for placements like this. I should get at least 1 more small shape. I don't need to make that play now. Shame it kills a tree, but it is what it is. Okay, plateau. As promised, 3 starting plateaus. Wow. And I still have this terrace, which I have not exactly been playing for, which maybe is my mistake, but I suppose it can... It's kind of funny. I've been carrying it the whole time, and it's like one of the big advantages of this island, but I have not been very strategic in planning it. I'm sure it's fine. How could that possibly matter? Okay, so Mason goes before either of them no matter what. So getting 3 plateaus is incredible. So I think I am going to take this placement for sure. It creates buildable space near the ley line. I can also try and use these to smooth out some of the weirdness around here, but I don't want to end up detracting from buildable space, right? So like this actually leaves a little gap right here that is unplaceable. Like that actually might be a net negative. And I need to at least be thoughtful about that. Not to say it's like always going to be the wrong thing to do, but I need to be thoughtful about it. Kind of just exploring this area now. I don't mind this, because this space back here has kind of an irregularity to its shape, and buildings are generally square, so squaring up this space seems reasonable. Okay, so let's say that I'm playing here, here, and here. I think pretty obviously this should be my Mason, so let's Go ahead and do that, and then city centers do score on the plateaus. I think it's fewer points. I don't need to place them yet. Huh. I actually wonder, can I place this further in by disabling snapping? Just a tiny bit. Because that is getting a little bit in the way of this plateau. Okay. We're just going to go back to this well. We're going to do some easy placements, at least for a moment. I think I need a little more information to make my decisions. And if I am placing here, I have like almost no leeway right there. Okay. Ooh, yep. Okay. And I might be able to place a small shape right there. Speaking of. If there is a triple, I'm going to take that instead, but I don't know, 22 is actually pretty good. Versus just 20 for the little bit bigger shape. I think I have to take Sealed Boon contractually, so not even really a decision. When I say contractually, I mean like because I am Sealed Boon maxing. I am not actually under contract. Although if Big Sealed Boon wants to lobby me, I am receptive to your offers and steak dinners. Man, what a good game this is. I think my city center will be up here. Or maybe right here. And in either case, this ain't detecting. And now it creates some fun opportunities like this where I can place higher point value vergers because I have new green space. It's not long for this world. The green space will not be lasting. It will be all covered, but maybe for right now I can indulge in a 14-pointer to help me continue progress on this island. Oh, there's almost... Huh. I wonder if this is worth leaving? Nah. Maybe now I take city. I think park is getting kind of mid, and I do want city center. Okay, so again we come to the issue of the... Oh, and I do want to check. This gets... Yeah, okay, so city center before plateau. Okay. I am nervous about blocking wall platform still. But it's 45 points. And this is the area that I will be building my city in. And I hope to wall platform off of this sloped rock here. So I'm hoping really for like this placement. And then I know that I was like, you know, harping on the mason versus wall platform, but city center contributes to the plan of my wall platforms in this particular instance, where mason would kind of get in their way. I mean, mason boosts the houses a little bit, but like this is not why I'm placing the mason. Versus the city center will actually increase the scores of my city buildings in this region by a meaningful amount. Yeah. Okay. And pretty shortly I can also figure this boy out, because this is a big deal. And I'm also going to get a second terrace soon as well, at least a second. There could be more. Okay, I think I do still feel good about this. Maybe I hold it, but I do feel good about it. And then over here, I think I can actually do the full 30. I don't think I'm losing any real buildable space because of that. I can't do like this, because then I'm getting so close up on the ley line that I'm reducing the space by it. Maybe. I mean, there's some good squeaky placements in here. Placements that get right up on the edge. There's also like, oh, I was really hoping that would tag the ley line. That would be beautiful. Not quite. So I do need to leave some of this terrain available. Maybe I just take this one just because it's kind of a low impact on anything else sort of placement. Yeah, and that snapped in. That was actually perfect. I did not expect that to snap. But now there's a full field space right here still visible. Still placeable, pardon. I used the mansion to make it visible. Well, I've now kind of priced my seaweed fields out of being in contact, which I'm okay with. I think there will be more points to be had by utilizing this space. And there's also buildings like the circus and the guild hall. I don't have guild hall, pardon, but like the circus that score way more points on the ley line, so they are a higher priority. Also, big beautiful island to not be utilizing at all. It's gonna be funny to have like a finished island that has a location in the map where you don't see any of it because everything is concentrated. Okay, back to seaweed fields. Okay, glad there's still at least one double. I was concerned I was going to have to find a different building to place because I'm probably not willing to place a single tag. Okay, so I might be kind of done with seaweed fields right now, which is fine. I only have one remaining. Huts have huge radius, which is great because of ley line. It's a little bit taller of a building than I would like, and also I probably should have placed this before the field. Yeah, slight sequencing error. The mills are just such good little gap fillers that in my head I was mentally thinking about saving them for later to fill in, little spots like this would have been prior to the plateau clipping into it. Spots where I do want to have a building that detects the ley line, and you can also detect the ley line from much further away using the mills because they have much larger detection radius. But again, score on the island does kind of matter. It matters in that it gets you more buildings, which themselves equate to more score on the ley line. I can just do those two in that sequence. That seems totally reasonable. We're up to 4 seal boons, so I've earned 3 from the rocks so far. Okay. Additional fissures is fine. I do like that. Okay, let's make a few fish with verdure, and then we're probably done with fish vergers. I just don't think there's a lot of space or opportunity left, so not going to be my priority. I can feel my brain starting to slow down as the island complexity increases. And I do want every single verger to touch the ley line. So I might be literally out of vergers that I am currently willing to place. They might go up in value later, and I'm not making more fish because you see these fish already kind of arc around maximum reach to the ley line. I don't think there's, well, there might be one out here actually, if I manage to get a fish on that far left. Oh, there's one. Is that worth -2? If it is barely worth it, and I'm kind of inclined to, oh, is it worth 0? I mean, the fish is 6 points on the fishers if they're all in this area, so it's probably only 4 points. This is probably a 4-point verger. But by the end of the island, my vergers might be worse than that if I have enough flowers all scrunched up. I don't think this is worth it, but I am curious enough that I'm going to place it anyway. I think it's relatively close. Now I'm going to have one over here for sure, and one over here, and I suppose it does not matter what order I sequence these in. They're all going to detect the negatives that they're going to detect. So the most valuable thing remains the ley line. I mean, I guess I may as well just place it in here if I'm already going to be eating that negative. As long as it detects the ley line. Nothing else really matters. Okay, so now that I have utilized the fish, I could wait for another mason, or I could kill them with a plateau placement. The hops field's kind of free as well, but not enough by itself. Pretty decent huts. You know, given that I only have one city center at least. Huts do go much higher than that, but they basically just scale off of the city centers. I think everything else here I want to hold. I think I do... It's either like mill or plateau into Hopsfield. And I could just mill right here or something. It's a high score, which is good. Again, like my score does materially matter in how many buildings I get. It's also... Well, let's get the boon, because this does get the boon while I think about it. It doesn't need to be this close to the ley line. So there's a certain argument to just placing it further back for a much worse score to get more close space to the ley line. And I think I am going to do that. Or at least I'm going to explore... Yeah, like I think placements like this on the nose of it seem to be wiser to me, because it's a spot less desirable in closeness to the ley line, but still quite high scoring. Yeah, let's do that. So if my cliff houses can score on the ley line, which I think they can, I might be contractually obligated to take them. They will probably fit under a wall platform. The neighborly is worth a bunch of points, but I think the cliff houses are worth more to the ley lines. Like I can neighborly a couple of vergers, for example, and get some high point vergers, more trees. Then if I end up getting Blossom as my 4th or I think 5th, 6th boon, nah. I'm trying to justify a weird decision here. Okay, so I think we just immediately place this now. A little bit of wasted space to get 4 extra points. Because the mill is so small, I think I still have 4 blocks of space backwards. Although actually, I need to be real particular about that. There's no reason not to. So that's 64. Still takes up more than 1 block of space, but I think it is a little further back, and I'm going to leave it. 3 extra huts is good. Any building that detects the ley line from far away is good. That's how we evaluate buildings on these islands. How much longer do I want to wait for Mason? I mean, probably a little longer, right? Lighthouse, however, I think I do feel good about placing. Because I'm going to get another seaweed farm probably soon, but maybe not soon. And everything else is already handled, so. 67 points right now is meaningful. There are multiple other pretty good spots that will detect the ley line if it comes to that. But 67 being both the highest score and ley line detecting is a big game. It's interesting to think about comparing this video to my first ley line island I ever played, which is also an Island 4. We've learned so much, and like the techniques have been refined to such a degree. The community has really created, I think, a very intelligent, thorough way to play the game. 126 points. We don't love that. I do feel like it might be time to stop waiting on a Mason, because I already have 5 down, and Masons are not a super numerous building. I was hoping to pull one this draw, but I can only wait so long. I'm really waiting on a second city center, because that'll unlock huts. I mean, maybe I wait on the city center for the plateaus and the terrace on the same logic, like city center or Mason would be meaningful. But I can really only feel good about scoring Wheatfield, Hopfield, maybe Vergers, maybe Sawmill. I mean, I guess I can just do bad Sawmills. Like, I don't have enough space to place Sawmills like here and here. And this one I don't want to block the overhead as described, but I don't think I have enough room. I'm going to fill all my available space. That's what I'm kind of getting around to saying. So maybe these don't need to touch the ley line. I probably still want them to, though. I need 100 points from 6 buildings or fewer. Maybe it's time to use a shaman. Okay, let's start placing buildings. I don't think it's time for plateau. That's what I was ultimately deciding. Okay, that actually interesting. I'm surprised that can't go any further, but that is the limit. So I think I want to place that and then, yeah, have it snap. I intentionally let it snap there. Okay, then some hops field over here. I don't want to block this plateau, but so I guess in service of that, let's see. And when I say see, I mean both observe and also press the C key so that I can just slightly clip these into each other without the snapping taking over. Something like that. Okay. And this is noticeably further back and obviously being constrained by the field. Okay, heard. I think that means that we just place this. I'm tempted to advance it a little bit, like so, and intentionally not snap it, because the foot of the plateau has a little bit of depth to it. Like you can see it settle in there as I move up over that corner. So I think we're okay doing this. I actually, now that I can see it, I can see there's a little bit of gap anyway, so we'll undo that and go here. I'm really just trying to create every millimeter of space on this side that I can. Yeah, okay. This feels pretty close to perfect. City center might be too far away to be detected by this, so I think this seems like a reasonable next plateau to place. I don't want to leave it though. I needed to measure it, so I did need to place it, but I don't want to leave it when I might get a mason or a city center. I'm going to try holding that at least a moment longer. So now the secret is, where is the good sawmill? Obviously, like, here is the high score. Is it actually okay for me to do this? Do I need to leave this space for fields? Is it better to do this? Do I need to leave this space for houses, mansions? Do I just get a low score, but back here, totally destroying my plateau? Placement, space. Lots to consider. I really wish this spot tagged. Like, obviously it's far away, but if there was a platform like here, that would be a good spot. I think I have enough field space around the back here and all along this side that I think I can just take this. It feels pretty space efficient. It's a pretty good score for a sawmill. Yeah, no way to get better placement by skipping. And I think there's still enough room here for a field. Does kind of look like it. Okay. I'm just really trying to avoid placing plateaus or terrace. Trying to find every other reasonable point to claim. Like this. I'm a little nervous about blocking circus. But circus could be up here on like a wall platform or over here. It's a big building to only score 4 points. Probably better back here, or maybe back here on like a wall or a water platform. Yeah, I think a water platform right there might work. Okay. Okay, so not brewery, probably not sawmill, maybe sawmill out here. Seaweed fields, I'm down to getting singles everywhere, right? I don't think there's any more double farm detections, and I'm gonna get a 4th farm at some point. I guess it's not guaranteed, but it feels likely. 15 is a pretty good single score. I could just place a couple of these. The verdures are bad. Yeah, a lot of stuff is just bad. A lot of stuff I don't feel good about placing yet. And even if the plateau, it doesn't get me there by itself. Let's go 12 into 15. Okay, getting the field feels good. Yeah, perfect. It tags everything. It almost perfectly utilizes the space. That's like that's an ideal field. You may like it. This is what ideal field looks like. I mean, all these negatives aren't great. I have already placed the lighthouse, which is not a mistake you make very many times. The lighthouse gets negative 13 on every shaman. Okay, so looking at this, I think it might just be time to plateau. At least this one is a bit further out, so there isn't as much that I'm concerned about it overlapping with. I guess I never really checked. Yeah, okay. Some of these are placeable. It's good to get the small shape right off the rip as well. I mean, needing like roughly 70 points, I could start dipping into some shamans. I definitely want them to be tagging the ley line, but that doesn't seem too hard. Got a few good options. I think that I'm kind of out of masons. Like I might draw one more, but drawing 5 already, there's not a ton left in the pool. Not having a second city center isn't perfect, but I think let's just do it. I think we need to make a fair amount of score to move forward, so we're gonna do one of these, and then trying to decide if it matters how far back I put this. Like, it does create space along here, but I don't know what building I'm imagining going there that would tag the ley line that I care about. Oh well, probably fine to just place it here. And I might end up just doing this with a shrink if I get access to that, but if not, it is like, I mean, it kind of looks like it's 3 blocks wide. I don't have a good ability to judge that with, I suppose. Okay, and now only needing 10 points. It's a little less particular about what I place. I don't think I have any doubles left over here. I mean, 15 is close to the score you would get from a double just by being relatively central, but I think I'd ideally wait to get an additional farm before placing any more of these. Minecraft villager noise. And there are placements like this. I don't exactly know where these terraces are going. Because I certainly could just place my first one here, and then there will be a second one, remember? Like, guaranteed at least one more. So it could be placed, like, here, right? And then hopefully whatever wall platform shenanigans I get are not badly interrupted by this. And it does turn this awkward, messy space into more clearly buildable ground. I don't need to place it yet, though, because I only need 10 points. So the least losing play does feel like a sawmill, but I really don't want to do like this or something. I'd rather be further back from the ley line, and then you're getting back into like this area, which I might want to plateau, but maybe I want to plateau here. It's all a little confused. I have to pick a lane. So getting plateau and terrace near the city center means my city's going to be worth more, and I do have pretty good city. Like, at some point I am going to want to maybe play mansions in here. 6 points on the ley line isn't bad. So if I'm going to be playing the mansions around there, I probably will want to do like a 46. I'm not going to do that until I've gotten at least this boon, and then the next boon is an even shorter distance away, typically, just because of how the boons on the score loops spawn. So wonder if there is a... There's some decent stuff in here. It's kind of funny. Okay, I think I'm just going to place a hut. I'm not even sure this is, like, ideal, but It's 12 points. It's on otherwise less useful ground. It does score the ley line. I would rather have more circuses because they're 10 points each on the ley line. And the parks are a numerous building, which I'd like to avoid. Wow, another plateau. Okay. So this 31 feels pretty good. It does kill trees, but kind of getting to the point where that's inevitable. And I can actually, at this point, I can score my last boon. So hitting this boon marker will reduce my building draws from 6 to 5 because you're starting score loops. But because I'm going to hit that marker before I get new buildings anyway, it's unavoidable, right? Because this is going to fill up slower than this. So once I unlock that boon, I can cancel the building. I'm now at current draw 5, but I was going to have this next draw be 5 anyway. So again, it doesn't materially change things. Duplicate, I think, has more potential to boost my score. And I think I'm tempted to just immediately duplicate a circus. So I think fish kites are also 10 points. And that would be a little better. I mean, obviously duplicating a fortune teller is higher scoring. But with how score loops work, that's only getting me 1 or 2 buildings probably. And speaking of score loops, I'm kind of almost to the point of needing to really start caring about those. When it comes to the fortune teller, that is, because I'm now drawing 5 buildings. So, I mean, 2 more plateaus and a terrace. The terrace is just never getting copied. It'd be pretty easy to work my way down to copying fortune teller. I could even smuggle the tavern or the circus through, but I kind of think just saving the duplicate for fish kite is fine. I think it'll score comparable or better than the circus, and it takes essentially no space. I mean, maybe it literally takes no space. I'm not exactly sure how that mechanic works, but... Okay, and this space over here I'm going to leave for mansions as long as possible. So let's start here. Yes, it kills 2 trees. And then if I wanted to, I could probably get this boon and then cancel the building. That, doesn't actually, in this particular instance, accomplish anything, but just demonstrating how that works. So now 5 sealed boons and a duplicate. And I can't see where my score is because I undid. But I'm probably still pre this line. I mean, with how many plateaus I got, if I place one out here, I wonder if I'll be able to get contact. Let's see. Nope, wrong building. Okay, so this, unless I drifted across, which probably is just the play, right? Okay, so I can place this here. I have created some placeable space close to the ley line. That's like probably just the strategic play. Even though this itself is low scoring, being able to score the ley line with even like 1 additional building might matter. And then the one in here I'm still kind of saving, I guess, in case I get another city center. At some point it's just going to be time to start pulling these triggers, but yeah, let's take that, and then I'm actually going to go ahead and place this one. I think that's fine. I mean, more hops fields are going to go in here, so they're not going to be able to contact this, but if I wait on my brewery, what am I placing? I mean, I guess, let me see if I do have another boon banked. I don't think so. Because this I can just let overfill, and then if this marker gets to the boon, then I will get a boon. I think it's, yeah, okay, a little bit short. Not too bad. Let's... I'm so indecisive about this. I just know that I'm going to get another city center as soon as I start doing this stuff, but I do think I need to. All right, so... Come on. There has to be one tiny... Yeah, there we go. All right, so... If I'm placing this here kind of just for score, I can get 11 points? 12? Yeah, 12 because it has a fishing spot. Okay. And notice that this is not lighting up because, again, I undid the circus, so I'm like 10 points in debt to it, essentially. Now, if I make a few more flowers around here, I might be able to pay them off in a lot of ways, actually. But I think I just tank the -10 and then try to get some good flower positions. Yep. Because pretty soon I'm just gonna do stuff like this. And then, so that was 4 flowers, which can only be done if you're placing on stone like that. And I get 5 points out of this with some bad flowers. Or I can actually drift way on top of this. That's interesting. Create some much better flowers right there. Cool. Okay, so with all of these good flowers made, now I wonder if I'm within reach. I just can't let this arc around another time, but this is fine. Actually, you know what? I gained so few points from placing those. There's just no way that's going to be enough. No need to bother checking. I'm really nervous that as soon as I place a shaman, I'm going to get Blossom, and that would be like a huge difference in effective points. And playing around that is becoming kind of expensive. So... I wonder if this is going to end up out here. Good. Alright, let's... just commit here at least. Yeah, so using minimal space that did detect the ley line. I think it did. Yeah, it did. Okay. Really no point in double checking that. I already knew it, but I doubted myself for a moment. Okay, now I might be able to get the boon. Just a little bit more information gathering before I commit. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, okay. Well... If I do that, do I leave enough room for circus here on the front? No. Oh, yeah, okay. Well... do I like that warehouse? I kind of think I do. I really wish this would detect. It's very close, but... I wonder if I can use the disable clipping. Nah. Just barely not quite. Shame. Okay, I'm going to leave that warehouse. It's central. It's detecting basically everything. I guess I can't really go much further back with it. I could go more over here, though, versus this spot. I'm definitely sacrificing some prime real estate in order to get a higher score. Which again, like, the score does matter. You do need the points to unlock more buildings, but just getting like 39 here and leaving a lot more accessible space. So is this spot worth 20 points total? Actually, I kind of think it is. I think leaving a huge amount of placeable space here is going to be better for my ley line. Okay, 2 terraces, another warehouse, that's nice. So if nothing else, I can probably do this, yeah. Or over here, or probably all sorts of pretty good warehouses. Now that I have 2 terraces, I think placing these is going to kill flowers. But I can probably, I know I've been checking this endlessly, but I'm pretty sure I can now get a boon. And if it's not blossom, I'm just going to proceed as though the final won't be. Okay. I think in this particular case, demolish is a clearly superior choice. It gives me more buildable space near the ley line, because I can demolish a building that previously scored the ley line, and that's quite good, you know. I'm still not interested in duplicating Fortune Teller. I'm still getting 5 buildings per draw. So knowing that I don't have a Blossom coming up, let's go ahead and Shaman. Shaman number 1. I think I did see some pretty good scores over here, and that is using a very small space, which is a benefit. And then the second one, I'm going to be a little more thoughtful with how it will contribute to my city scores, because this one is going to be included in the city. So I think I can place it like there, and then go over top of it. I don't exactly know where in this path I want my 2 terraces to go. I mean, maybe they just go like here and here, you know. And I think terrace and plateau are directionally independent. Yeah. Terraces just don't like each other, but that's fine. So I think if I place it up here too, I'll also be able to slip a wall behind it, which does feel, or I guess slip a wall here in between the ley line and the terrace. That feels pretty good. It might take away, no, okay. Probably still get a couple little guys in here. And let me double check a few things about that placement. So I could still choose to terrace here. I'm going to try and wall platform instead. I could build on this side. That actually might be the good play just for getting a big city, but... And then now we have like a 50 down here, or if I play a little further back, more like a 30, a 46. Okay. That's a pretty tight fit. I mean, that is a wall gap in between, but not much else will fit in there. It does create some valuable placements like that. And even, I can probably place a house in there that will detect the ley line. I think overall this is fine. I'm not... Yeah, I think it's fine. Once I end up getting like 4 wall platforms, it's going to look pretty bad, but I can do 2 here that I feel really good about. And honestly, maybe this shaman is a mistake just for build height, because now I can't build right on top of these fields, but too late. Can't take it back. I was wondering if there'd be enough room here, but not even close. That's fine. Was not counting on it. Okay. So could just be fortune teller time. I mean, these scores are still quite good. I guess kind of to the point of the ley line, I shouldn't really make a placement like this, because this just restricts some of the buildable area near it. Where in reality, I want to be creating more buildable ground, and I do that by placing it over some of this more scrungly terrain that is otherwise not buildable by large or mid-sized shapes. It's like now I have this leading corner here, which previously, well, okay, might have just been incorrect. Maybe that doesn't change anything. It does create a buildable platform for something like a market, for what's that worth. For what that's worth, pardon. I don't feel as strongly about this as I thought I would. I thought it would be better. And getting 50 points out of this is relevant, but not like that. At what cost? There's all sorts of interesting things you can do with plateaus, and placements like this or like this one that I saw down here, they just don't really feel like they are meaningfully improving how much buildable space I have near the ley line, and that's really all I care about. So with a distant secondary goal of score. So in service to that goal, let's play right there, creating enough space for a big square building. And I don't know if it's going to be used for that, but because I do believe a placement like this is going to create a lot more ley line land. And like, yes, this tiny little space in here is maybe underutilized, but I mean, it's less than a single hut spot. And like maybe walls can slip through here. That's juicy. Thinking about additional fields now, maybe one here would touch the ley line, but then I'm just out unless I get a green wall platform. Maybe it's time to transition fields this way. Maybe I've already gotten a lot of the fields in my offering. I got unusually lucky with fields. I'm going to proceed with this. I think, given that this is just Island 4, like, I only have so much longevity in general, and I think this is compelling, even if it's not, like, literally perfect. I don't know. Seems good enough. Long story short. Okay, so the most important thing here is maximum ley line contact. So can I get 2 or more mansions in here contacting the ley line? Yeah? Okay. So I mean, that's probably fine, right? I don't think I'm doing better than 2. The only downside is that I previously was able to, yeah, slip the corner of this through in a few different orientations. But like that runs into the ley line, so I'm not flush with the terrace. If I just go straight in like that, really feels like there should be something placeable right here. There doesn't seem to be, but it feels like there should be. Okay, so if that doesn't work, what about... No, I had it right the first time. Cool. So you do that, and then you can do this as well. Let me just triple check. Oh, that's way better. Cool. Okay. That's like actually just a sick placement. It's so cool they puzzle piece together like that. I mean, I guess on the premise that I don't think I'm placing parks over here anyway. I don't want parks, so I should just take Hermitage. Like, I don't want Hermitages either, but this is far lower weighting in my pool. Doesn't throw off my building draws as much. Alright, we wiggle this all the way up in there for 28 points. I don't want to use the large blocky shape. Oh, I can't tag it downwards at all? That's unfortunate. Okay, so pretty limited access to mansions at this point. Mansions have limited access to the ley line, I should say. Disappointing, but not surprising, I would say. That's not tagging the shaman. Come on. I think I am going to take this one, even if they're equally bad, just because I think this one is going to puzzle piece a little neater. But I guess that placement did not touch the ley line, so I should not do it. I need to keep that central in my mind. The ley line score is all that matters. I had a little bit of extra wiggle room there, so I'm going to get real precise with it. Yeah, good enough. I think it might be jumping into alignment anyway, so only so much you can do. Okay, that's actually kind of a devious placement. I need to double check that it works, which I kind of can't, but I can check my Boon. I'm a little late in the island to take bargain. Let me figure out if I have 5 more building choices ahead of me. Okay, so I actually don't think I do. I think I have 4. I have wall platform, monument, water platform, and fish kite. But I think I've unlocked everything else. So This will lock my choice of island. I don't have any rerolls, so I'll be forced to take one of the 2 islands for the next island. Now, the next island cannot be a ley line, but it could be a stellar. And stellar does mean 2 extra boons, which means because the boons that you're offered on each island loop, they run through, you know, you don't see one until you've repeated the whole list. Getting 2 extra boons means a little bit of progress towards my next sealed boon, which is relevant. So the question is, do I think bargaining 1 building on the ley line is going to be worth a larger portion of a sealed boon? I think I can actually wait, because I don't have to take that. There's nothing locked behind it. So I can actually just see if I come up just short on the ley line, and if I do, I can duplicate something. Yeah, that works. Interesting. And I do still have those demolishes, which I am thinking about, and of course the duplicate. I have to be very careful not to click. So Resort Oasis, Hermitage, pardon. Hermitages don't get very many points on the ley line, so generally speaking, they and Parks could end up going further away. But I might end up doing something like this, because again, this is only Island 4, so just like the raw number of buildings that I'll have total is not as high as you might otherwise expect. Maybe it's time to start coming in with this energy. I mean, it counts the ley line, and that's what matters. So I could just place like 1, 2, 3, and the scores won't be great, but it is a lot of points on ley line. And I don't know how much else of value is going in that area. That's a pretty good placement, also. I guess we've confirmed that no mansions around here matter. This little area down here can hold a house. So we'll do that. And then can I... Like this 18 is no longer tagging either. It's just like slightly inconvenient in a bunch of ways. Yeah, I think that clipped into the building here. That's what I was kind of hoping, is that it would jump to grid, which I believe it did. That's good to see. Okay, so yeah, because this doesn't have like any wiggle room. $22, but it does strand this little corner here. I want to leave this for a field. There's lots of like slightly tempting mansions. Mansions that are not quite good enough, but they're good enough to make me think about it. At some point, I should also... I should have checked these after the house placement, because I placed the house far from this wall, kind of for no reason. Like in my head, I was thinking maximum space utilization forward, but like that doesn't... I'm not fitting a second building no matter what, so that was a slight mistake. I don't see a ton of value to holding these. Fountains don't detect them for whatever cruel reason, so if they end up detecting a fountain, that could be relevant, but that really feels like a stretch. So if I'm not saving them, let's... And this really big one here I might just skip. I'm also gonna undo that and see if I can do a little better. Maybe not. Cliff House is more than most buildings, I think, because they are so unusual. It kind of you'd be surprised some of the spots you can find to place them. Like sometimes you see how it's auto-locking here. You can place them on the sides of wall platforms and terraces sometimes. I don't know what activates that, but sometimes you are able to. So worth checking. But also you can see that I can really only place this one approaching it from the correct angle. So that's something you need to check and keep in mind as well. Oh, I had wall. I could have done bargain. And I kind of knew. Oh, and wall and park. Okay, I absolutely could have done bargain. So I actually, wait a minute, and I just clicked on wall without thinking about it because it's still locked in my Boon. So clicking on wall there was certainly a mistake. But I have park, wall platform, water platform, fish kite monument at least remaining. So bargain is a safe take. Yeah. So bargain is safe, and I'm trying to decide if I immediately bargain terrace. I probably don't. I don't want to save bargain though. I mean, I could just place and then bargain a fortune teller just to get like an extra one building probably by the time the island's over. That's pretty bad. I'm pretty sure I just want another circus, and I have the demolishes if I need to fit them in somewhere. I should have locked the wall decision, but given that I have already made that mistake now, how do I want to proceed? Well, let's just do a circus. So before I unlock new buildings, I have to place my circus. I don't have to place it immediately. And I may as well take this opportunity to score a few more buildings, right? Yeah, so this circus is going back here. We've recently discovered, by the way, that one of the L-shape houses just does not show up in the pool. Like it should, it's in the game, but there is a L-shaped house that you never receive. So that's going to be patched in the future, or maybe by the time you see this, it will already have been patched. But little fun house fact for you. And then triple, triple. Yeah, I mean, I thought about trying to do some clever stuff where I leave this space for only the tiny L houses, but I'm not going to get enough of them. So no need. And that doesn't detect. Okay, well, knowing I have a square coming up next, I could just do this. I could do this. And then I need to have a big L here to finish it out. You know, this actually does maximally utilize space because I can fit 1, 2 and still do a circus right here. And if that's the case, I probably place the 19 for fortune teller math, if nothing else. That's placeable. We knew we had a square. That side's good. This side's good. This spot's good. Cool. So now I can do this. I think we're up to 6 sealed boons, 5 from the ley line, and then 1 from building draws, or boon draws, pardon. 35. I mean, this placement does detect the ley line. And that's all that matters, right? So we do 22, yeah, then there's another one right here. I think that's pretty obviously good. So let's do that. It's a slightly larger shape, right? Like houses can be just 3 blocks large, so 4 is like a little larger than the minimum. So placing a little bit further back makes sense to me. Oh, okay. So actually, to my point about the weird house L situation, I believe this is the L that does not exist. I think I picked wrong, which is also the L that I'm looking to fit in here. So truly, I am taking the L. And also, I have to remember that the L exists, the inverted L does not. That's also the shape that I was seeking to fit in this spot. So generally a problem. Not a huge problem, all things considered, because I can just use placements like that, and either a small or long L extruded into here is fine. I'm just leaving a couple corners, which might end up being things like towers later, hard to say. Okay, so I can't make this choice until I bargain. So, do I delete that house and then circus? Do I keep just placing houses and then circus? It's a 1-point swing either way, so it's only 2 points, which I think the chance of drawing like a city center is much larger. So I'm actually going to undo that and see if I can get a 39 that jumps. That would be cool. Sure looked like it did. Yep. Great. Okay, so that did score the Sacred Stones, or sorry, the Ley Line. I'm going to replace it again for my own comfort, but yeah, 10 points. Cool. Just making sure. And now I can bargain it. So this is guaranteed 10 points on the Ley Line. I mean, compared to taking a higher scoring building that scores like 4 to 6 points, I think we still want to do this. I'm not going to duplicate it as well, but I will bargain it. Forced to take park, that's fine. Okay, now I think we can come back to houses with the same logic we displayed previously. That does waste more space than I'm comfortable. So I would love to do placements like this, but we're still in the wall platform waiting room, so can't. It's illegal. You start getting into space like this, right? Where this is too far away from the ley line for the house to detect it. But there might be some buildings that I place out here that do still detect the ley line. So you have to be careful about encroaching into that space. Because placing buildings that don't detect the ley line is for jumps. Sad but true. This, however, does detect the ley line. I'm kind of curious. I don't think that's enough room for a small L, so I can't block it in like that, but I like the idea. I just don't think it works. High point value park does detect the ley line. Begins to utilize space over here that I might want for other things, but maybe I want this space for parks. Also, these 2 verdures are kind of languishing. It's also almost time to fortune teller. Like, it might have been better to hit it this time, especially since I'm placing some low value things like these cliff houses that I was curious about. Speaking of curiosity, yes, and no. Okay. $80 points in 3 buildings or fewer. Whatever I just placed was already wrong if I end up deciding to fortune teller, which I'm kind of torn on. Trying to see if like a green wall or a green water platform might allow for some shenanigans out here, but doesn't look like it. Okay, so if that's the case, I really wonder if I should have placed this prior to all these houses. I mean, obviously, if I'm going to place it, I should place it before the houses, but I'm not planning on putting this here at all. I just wonder if those 4 points would have been worth this much space on Island 4. Maybe. This is going to be a hard pill to swallow if I cost myself like 30 points by playing these out of order, but I mean, I guess even just placing the market there is comparable. Huh. I don't currently have any other market spots. Okay, I guess I'm gonna hope that was correct. So I could place the 4 houses and then the tavern. Like, the houses will be scoring a little bit less than 20, but once you count their score on the tavern, it kind of justifies it. I'm kind of thinking it's just fortune teller time. Maybe it's not quite what I had hoped for myself, but I don't need to get an enormous amount of points out of this. Okay, and if it is going to be fortune teller, I want to get maximum points that does score the ley line. Could play over here. Takes away a house spot. Oh, I think this house is already not detecting. Yeah, okay, so let's go up here. Because this is too far back for the houses, but I can just barely get it with the fortune teller. All right. It's important to open your packs as you get them, because the moment this passes, it drops the number. Like, see, this is current draw 3. It was 4 when I moused over it previously, but you just have to mouse off to update. Okay, well, sadly, as much as I would like to just do something successful like this, I actually contractually have to touch the ley line, so probably going to do something awkward like that. Coming in from this direction, we can get something significantly worse. This isn't actually bad. Huh, okay. I mean, it's a positive score. It does take up slightly more valuable land. And I'm not sure it creates, like, even a single double placement, because these are so buried in there. Okay. So if we're not creating double placements... I mean, again, I just kind of can't do that. Shame. Some really unexciting locations. This being a -11, but not taking up meaningful space and creating doubles is, like, actually kind of appealing. So there are placements in here where I can get 9 points and a bunch of singles. When I say like doubles or singles, I'm talking about how many seaweed farms my seaweed field can detect. You probably knew that, but just in case. My labyrinthine lexicon has confused you. I would get a higher score from placing single fields over here because of the +8 from the 2 terraces. Oh, sorry, the 2 platforms. But Over here... I do get all these doubles, but that's only probably 4 fields or something. And the double is also effectively +8. I think this one, utilizing space, is just a big deal. If I wait for a water platform, I can probably place... this or something. I mean, who is this thrilling, you know? And it takes a water platform, but I don't have an obvious location for my first water platform anyway. All right, we're gonna skip it. Okay, let's say that this big cliff house is just not gonna work, because I don't think it will. And even if it does, I probably don't want to take away placement space from the 3 smaller cliff houses behind it. So this guy is just getting placed for points. I have a 6, I have an 8. I may have something a little squidgier back here. Nay, I do not. An 8 that might get in the way of a wall platform and is only better for mansions? Nah, I don't think so. I think this is confidently getting played up here. And another big one, just back to back. Cool. Not ideal shapes here, but it is what it is. And I got these from a Boon pack anyway, so you know, this is house money. I guess now I need to wait for wall platform, because this is points on the ley line. But it might raise the wall platform higher than I can bear. So I need to be able to test that before knowing if it is place-worthy. Just going to place this one for score. I see a 10. That's pretty good. Just got to find it again, but I saw a few 10s during those rotations, so. They're here. Unfortunately, I don't actually remember what was different about my placement that allowed the 10. Am I going to take a shame 9? Oh, no, even cooler. That's a really cool fish spot. The 4 that's directly underneath the mill. I would not have expected that to be placeable. I am curious if there might be higher scores back here, and it looks like maybe there will. Let's take the 11 though, and then my next placement can be in that direction. I intentionally did not rotate, so I should be able to score the same location as before. There we go. Oh, I guess because there's a new flower, this one's not going to be as good, which is fine. Well, getting that +5 off the shaman is a pretty big game. I'll take a 12. Once I can find it again. Okay. Yes. I mean, at this point, for a Verger, that seems great. I also somehow have like an even better one over here, so let's figure that out. Bunch of 13s. Using the height to avoid flowers on ground level is working out well here. Because like this bubble is entirely suspended over this flower. Just the elevation gain is really helping me change my detection. It's important to think volumetrically. It doesn't come up a ton, but buildings detecting downwards can matter, or upwards. Multiple 14s, I will take... Oh, and they're so delicate. I'll take this one. Cool. Having verdure as one of your first few building unlocks, along with terrace, is one of my big goals for an optimal run because of things like that. I think about how many points I just scored directly on the ley line without taking up any physical space. Okay, now we get fish kite, and fish kite is 10 points, which is, I think, the highest of anything I have, and they take no space. So it is my ideal duplication target. 3 building draws. Okay. Could just be back to houses. I feel okay about that. I guess if I'm going to be placing parks in this area, I don't want to squish trees, but it feels like this area with all the parks, with all the fields, pardon, is a likelier park landing spot than back here in the city. Especially, you know, more lumber is going to end up back here. Yeah. I think the logic holds. Okay, so no matter what, we're only going to fit 2 mansions in here. Mansions will be higher scoring than houses because they'll, or higher scoring on the ley line at least. They're probably lower building scores, but that matters a lot less. So could just go ahead and do that. It's relatively easy points on the table. I think the only real downside of it comes from circus math. Comes from where am I placing this circus such that it detects the ley line. Well, I can do an angled one like that. I can also demolish the existing circus. I mean, because I'm almost to wall platform, so I don't want to rush where I might be able to get a little bit more ley line value by placing this low. So, waiting on wall platform, waiting on a bunch of buildings, waiting on parks. Fisher can probably go down. Warehouse maybe could. Sawmills could. Houses can. Got a few things that will earn points here. You know, buildings like this aren't good, obviously. They're not great. But they're not unplaceable. But maybe it's actually, yeah, okay, it's a little better out here. Glad I thought to check. We can get a 7. That again scores on the ley line. That's all that really matters. That's what we're here for. See, I want to utilize spaces like that, but again, I'm a little nervous about wall platforms. I think for good reason. Could just plan here, but it's a little bit the wrong shape. I think a slightly better shape would utilize that space slightly more efficiently. Now that may be the kind of like individual building decision that I don't really need to dive into. Like maybe I just place this and like, yes, there's a tiny bit of wasted space in there, but not enough to be very relevant. I could also just place this for points and not worry about whether or not I detect, which will then let me place like this, I guess. I mean, that does feel pretty good. This utilizes the space in there much more effectively, and might allow me to get a double if I get the small shape, or maybe that exact same L again. The Tetris doesn't look like it's gonna place in here, at least not how I want it to. Not how I need, but that's okay. I am just about at the point of starting to lay these sawmills, though. Especially, I think, if I can fit 2 in here, which I suppose I can. I mean, I can already see that space there has been narrowed too far. I'm going to leave the house, though. I'd already kind of decided that prior to placement, so I'm aware that I removed my ability to undo it, but I wasn't going to. I guess I don't like going further in than I have to, but it does create additional placements. So let's do 1 right there, and then the next, I guess I could just stack all 3 right here, and all 3 would be detecting. This is very precise. Alternately, I could place it a little further up and get the 10. So that's really a 22 right here, and then, I mean, it's points on the ley line. Ultimately, that's why we're here, right? That's why we do it. I'm hoping that a small L house here can detect the ley line. And if it doesn't, then I'll be disappointed, but we'll play around it. I guess this could have been inverted with my level up boon. It's a good negative building to keep in mind. It also has a moderately large detection, which makes it good for placing in spots out like this. I'm not going to lay it just yet, but we are heading that direction. So this does introduce some concern, some issue. I'm using a lot of space here for 1 building, and it prevents me from being able to use some of these placements I was considering previously. I don't know if I'm still considering these or if I've moved entirely on to the water platform placement. I mean, it would be so cool. I think I had a spot when I was playing previously that does not detect both of the seaweed farms. Yeah. I can place like there or something. So the warehouse scores 3 points and it scores nothing. Could still be the play. And if that is the case, I think I actually play this. It's only 2 points on the ley line, so that's a downside. Like maybe I would be better off just putting houses here, but that is only a 1 point swing. And it is scoring 30 points off of a building, which is relevant. Probably won't get detected wherever this ends up, but I thought that was going to sit too, but then I really got to thinking about it. Decided maybe I wanted to be a bit more tactical before accepting that placement. That's a cool little spot. Not great score, but good to utilize space. Okay, do I want to just do 16-point huts? Have we come to that? I feel like another city center has to be so close in the draw pool. Could also... Whoa. Okay, I did not expect that to be placeable. And I don't think... I mean, the little L house would be, but either way, it's 3 points on... Is this just better? I kind of think it is. And then let's place one more house, not detecting... Man, every time I place a building not detecting the ley line, part of me wonders if that building is forced, or if I would be able to hold the building more smartly and save it for a different opportunity when it would. I think that's fine, it did detect. I could now hit the 30-ish here. I guess I killed a tree and a flower. So I'm gonna place this, I do it first. I mean, I'm kind of out of space back here. I don't think placing this for effectively 12 points or this for 14 utilizes the larger. Yeah, let's do this. Looking to find a 30 that jumps into the corner. That's actually enough by itself. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that. It seems like a fine placement. Okay, we'll take our single water platform. It is green, which is nice. So my ideal placement is... I guess like right there? This is a weird one. Okay, so that didn't quite get me close enough. Does it need to be both turned and further forward in? I guess so. What if I try and come at it from this direction? I guess that does move me further away from the terraces, or not terrace, pardon, the plateaus, which does matter quite a bit, because those do elevate the score of my further fields. I can see the point where... Oh, okay, so that's really close. Maybe a little further forward, I think. Kind of a cursed thing in general. Cursed that this spot exists, cursed that I'm fighting for it like this, but... Okay, there we go. So that is an option. It's 5 points, and it creates some single placements that are getting +4 or +8 from these two. Doesn't create very many single placements, but... I mean, I still have spots over here that are acceptable scores. If I wanted to just do... I thought I had a detection over here that wasn't this bad. It's been a bit since I logged off last time, actually, so it's coming back to me in phases. Could also just do things like this just for score and say screw these 3 fields. That's not terrible. If I thought this was going to make more detection space, I might think more seriously about that. Detection space meaning space that detects the ley line, of course. You know, it's not moving me. I'm not... Like, if I get a second market, maybe I'll want water platform, but it seems really superfluous. I'm gonna try and find a really nice spot like that. Yeah. Okay, all that just to score 3 points there. And to now get a 16 instead of an 11. But that's a meaningful amount of points. You could see that theoretically making a difference, right? Surely. Okay, gonna see if the next one is the small shape. Okay. Cool. So I can actually place this way further up. So this can go... I could just place it way further back, actually. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, I mean, exact placement here doesn't matter too much. Because I'm not going to be getting a lot more seaweed fields, but those were good scores. Now the verger has to detect the ley line. I can get 9 points while doing that, apparently. Lower scores here. Trying to detect that shaman as well does get me a nice point payout, but I have to use kind of an unideal spot to do it, so. I guess let's look for that 9 again. It was somewhere in here. Oh yeah, you can see I'm not detecting that flower right next to the sacred stone, or the ley line. Jeez, I am really fumbling my words today. End of a long day, brain will do that to you. Okay, so I'd love to make a few more trees, but if that's not going to happen, I will just accept a 1 or 2 tree 9-pointer. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And I see an 11 too. Oh, it's so close to being various 12s. There's so many 12s that this placement almost is, but not quite. I don't love making a flower up top, but I don't know how many more vergers I'm getting realistically anyway. And I just have demolishes in the bank. Okay. Back to difficult decisions. I guess I had previously okayed this. Do I feel the same now? I guess so. And double check that that left a placeable spot, which it did, so a small tea house can fit up in there too. This does not detect ley line, but it is just like a cool spot. I just think it's neat. I might want to hold off though, because I am 1 building unlock away from wall platform, so maybe I'll get new buildable space there that I'd rather prioritize the houses on. 3 buildings per draw. I'm not getting a lot more no matter what I do, but 13 mansions still. Bruh. Okay. I think it's gonna be like wall or double hut or or could look for another fountain or another weird sawmill. The weird sawmill potential is pretty low. And I guess I can always play them out here, but then we're getting into conflict with some other buildings. Shamefully, this spot still doesn't quite reach. Why isn't it possible? It's pretty close. But yeah, even with snapping disabled, where I'm moving the building right up to the edge here, it's just barely short. Oh. Or that time, randomly, as I continued to wiggle it, it did detect. Weird. Okay, we'll take that. And now only needing 25. That's still a fair deal of points. Even though mansions now score positively on walls, houses still score negatively. So since this is house central, I kind of have to wait. It'll be a good wall at some point, though. You know, I'm probably overthinking this. I'm not getting a lot more buildings. I'll be a little bit bummed if, like, my next pull is a city center, but can't play around everything forever. Also bummed that I can't make the 15 or 16 work on the low ground, but because I don't know if this spot might end up being. I'm trying to think what buildings detection would matter here. Not a lot of stuff. It's like this isn't. I mean, I guess it fits, but doesn't detect. I just don't want to block wall platform usage, but that doesn't seem likely either. All right, we'll take the 16. Ta-da! Okay, so predictably, this spot is narrower than I thought, and a wall platform was never going to fit here. Not once I placed the terraces, which is fine. This is not like a fail state. These terraces created a lot of buildable space right in here, and although I could have placed this one markedly further over the right, then it would like have barely been close enough. So I'm getting a lot of space out of this anyway. Again, given that it's island 4, right? You have to be realistic about how much runway you actually have on these early islands. So now knowing this, where do I want to place this wall? I mean, that seems pretty good and does get me some, maybe literally one house detecting, and then perhaps some other larger buildings. I could also, because it is green, I could use it to place a building over here. A hermitage, perhaps. Let me see if I can get sneaky with this. No, not even close. All right, sneaky options, pretty low. It's like this is just going to be way worse. All this is further back. I guess if I'm just looking to score houses, this is better terrain to create. Or I guess mansions is what I really need to be thinking about, because I have 14 of them to place. So if I need good mansion scores, do I want to place this wall platform not creating buildable space near the ley line, but instead just creating good mansion space? I mean, I don't conceptually love that, but I think functionally it is powerful. I think that is the direction that I'm going in. And if that's the case, then 8 is going to be out here. And Hopefully I get a small L to fit in here. If not, I can cram some other building, I guess. Oh, there we go. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Cool. Okay, so that's all my houses. So if I wanted to demolish and replace Circus now, it would be a pretty good time to. I could also, I think this is more points, is demolishing a good one, but I was thinking I could just place a second and then just demolish it and leave this one, but I think that is fewer points overall. Well, we can come back to cliff houses. Now I know that this spot is safe. And end on the small size. Perfect. Alright, so I took the cliff house boon and was able to place 4 cliff houses next to my ley line for 8 total points scored on it. Not great, not terrible. Just looking for score here, so won't take too much digging, I think. And as always, the end of the island wraps up pretty quick. Okay, another wall at least is nice. Because it's very small, so it will be very easy to place close enough. Okay, now let's do circus. There's some 47 pointers. I mean, that's not even bad. And we're going to try and loop around this one more time, which will mean that I earned 7 sealed boons on Island 4. And then the 7th itself I got from boon selection, which still counts when you're spending them, but I am trying to keep them separated for tracking purposes. Yeah, not detecting the ley line though. Nor is this one. Might end up right here or something. We'll see if I get more of these fields, which are a higher priority. But alright, mansions. Oh, and the small size. Okay, so I will fight tooth and nail for a little while to try and find a clever spot to sneak this friend in. I don't... If it's going to be somewhere, it's going to be right here, right? I don't think anything else is close enough to detect. This does not vertically, it's a real shame. And this would not have if I'd left it, so that's good to confirm. Okay. I feel like this is the spot if one existed. So kind of feels like a spot doesn't exist. Kind of makes me wonder if one of these houses that did not detect should have been placed here. But I guess if nothing else, I do have this. I say if nothing else as though this is like absolute chaff, but it's fine. Okay. Now we start placing mansions for real scores. It's real scorer hours now. And we're gonna start up here. Yeah, that seems like a actually very close fit perfectly the first time. I guess I could just take the 23. I'm trying to think which one of these spots is ultimately more restricted, and I think that's fine. And yeah, these are like no better doing it the other way. The only okay, the only downside is because this is a small shape, I can place it somewhere closer into everything and get away with it because the shape is small. Yeah. Obviously, these are not scoring the ley line, which is unideal, but I kind of don't think that's possible at this point. We have to move realistically. Like, these both will score on the ley line, so just getting access to these has a real non-negligible ley line value. All right, could be 25 in a little bit. 25 points. Bad scores over there, or decent score over here. 17, that's kind of out of the way. 31, okay, good. Glad that I kept looking a little. This is just a really restricted spot, that even with that minus 12, it's not gonna fully offset everything. Okay. 31 that detects the stones, come on. Cool. Back to mansions. If it ain't broke. I don't... Okay, I like that shape more for a bunch of reasons. Oh, interesting. I would not have expected that to be any good. I mean, I guess I am placing these with reckless abandon, but not even considering things like this, which, like, yes, the score is quite negative, but it's worth it. It's always worth it. Literally anything you can do on the island to get one more sealed boon is worth it. And currently I'm playing for the boon after this one, because this one's, like, kind of guaranteed, I think, at this point. But the next one is very much not guaranteed. That will depend on my score longevity. I think the next one is actually quite unlikely, for what it's worth. But you have to try. A lot of score variance in a small area, but 32 points, and that did detect. I'm now considering leaving that spot for a larger building. Okay, competing with 32. I can get like a 34 down here, but again, this spot does have... I have ambitions for this spot. Oh, I can't quite detect the second. It's a shame. But second market would be fine. I mean, everything, whatever gets placed down here is getting Pride of Honor. I haven't used that space for basically anything. I've used up a bunch of the tight, fiddly spaces. Like it. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. 21 points, still a fine score. Did score the ley line. Doesn't occupy this beautiful spot up here, which might end up being something. I don't know. I don't know yet, but whatever fits in there detects the ley line. I'm going to be glad I left a spot for it. Just placing these for points. Nothing wrong with that. Now I have doot 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 and this all available whenever the right shapes come up. But now that I'm down to one building draw, I'm not seeing a lot more shapes. So can kind of play around what I have. Okay. This seems really good for a bunch of reasons. It's like every relevant point, and it takes up a small spot, and I mean, maybe Maybe I want that spot for a tower instead, but honestly, this score is comparable. Then let's keep going into mansions. There's more value to be had here. So I've still got a lot of mansions. That's not going to be placed, it's too clipped. And in knowing that fact, I can use this space for something more restrictive, maybe. Might just not matter. At this point, I'm mostly looking for score and I mean, maybe I place that way so it... Oh, can I get it to jump? This is going to be big if I can get it to clip into the cliff. It doesn't need to go far. And you can see if this just lined up just a little bit. And buildings are typically willing to jump into walls. They're not willing to jump over ledges, like it won't overhang, but they will clip into structures. Okay, come on. I feel like I had it even further the first time than it's willing to go now. Maybe I just should have left it. It's not jumping. That's a shame. It really feels like it should because it's so close. And it's up against the building, and I'm placing it with jump to collisions turned off. I'm just using I'm using the C key to help me maneuver it, but then I'm releasing C to actually place it. So I think it would jump into alignment if it was going to. There must be something about this cliff here, maybe, or it detects this as a ledge somehow, so it's not willing to overlap that. And I'm willing to believe that I won't get better doing this the other way. Like, I bet this is just not going to be placeable at all because it's already requiring it to be clipped in. Okay, a lot of effort for nothing. Because we are just going to move on from that spot. It's not really usable. This is still going here. I'm just thinking about if I can fit a second building. And if so, what that second building should be. Alright, fountains and walls don't even notice each other, so no need to be considerate of that. Instead, let's find and score a 33-point wall. As you were. There you go. Okay. Kind of hate that that wall is placeable and doesn't score the ley line. I mean, yeah, that is a wall. Of all the walls, that's one of them. I really did not leave, like, any wiggle room up in here, which is by design. It's not a failure, but... wonder if it's better to do... Nah. I do wonder if there's like one weird little squirrely wall somewhere that will detect the ley line. It just really feels like no. Like it feels like this is the only corner that I could realistically work in. There's nothing here. Like I can't fit anything in that spot. So coming at it like this, you have to be so far forward to start getting detection. Like this is absurd to even consider. If I could place, I mean, I guess in my mucking around with this wall, I blocked this one in place because I probably could have placed the 30-point version and had this in a slightly different spot. That's likely a mistake. Well, I don't know if likely could be a mistake. I certainly should have checked. But yeah, it's really giving unplaceable. I need to get off my high horse about these mansions. I'm not drawing more. It doesn't matter how they place. I am still going to get this one as far clipped in as I can, but I'm not going to spend too long on it. One park. Great. So have all these like nice house spots that I was leaving, but are they going to get utilized? Probably not. Still 4 mansions. Now, I could leave this as a... Well, actually, I don't... maybe this isn't even placeable. Be weird if that were... Oh, I bet it's the fountain. I bet the fountain is clipping through it just a little bit, because this is totally placeable. I might get a line park, and the line park placed there would detect the ley line. So let's hold off. And might be time to finally use this space. This single building worth of real estate that I have left here. Okay, that's still scoreable, as is this, actually. So, points on the ley line. Nothing up here is gonna detect the ley line. There's no square space left in here. This video is sponsored. I'm kidding. Just a few buildings left to play out, but I'm thinking that another loop doesn't seem super possible, right? I mean, that's just looking at what I can see. The data does seem to indicate that we are tapped out. This isn't even a line. It's just squares the whole way down. Okay. Well, taking parks so late does mean that they are overrepresented in our remaining building draws. Oh, I guess this was the spot I was considering. Huh. Well, there'll be another. There'll be some weird little spot I can place this, even for a negative. I am willing to do that. Although I may not have to, because again, I'm not getting another. I really don't think I'm getting another sealed boon. There's also my destroy I can use at some point. Like right now I'd be demolishing this mansion, I guess, if I can even reach in there. But that's only 6 points. Not moving the needle massively. guess. I'm like really quibbling over what is ultimately not going to matter even a single bit. So I should probably just place buildings, but that doesn't work. That's so brutal. Just being a little bit off there because of how it's clipping on the corner. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it would be cool to be able to place that there. All of these are going to block my fountain in this spot, which might mean that it's time to place that fountain. And there's a sealed boon. All right, so I got 7 out of the ley line. Given that this is island 4, I feel pretty good about that. You'll see there's just not as many buildings as there will be on later islands. That's how it goes. I just don't think this is going to get me anywhere. But I'll play it out. For completionist's sake, if nothing else. See, you would really hope that there'd be one little square spot back in here. I'll even take clipping. I'll work it up the mountain or whatever. I'm not particular, but it's gonna be weird if I actually blocked all of my placeable spots not on this plateau, because I can't use this because this is Marketville. Okay, so the outer ring of where it could go. Nothing out here is any good. Trying to keep that 4-point lit up. I suppose I could have left like this spot. That would be 4 more points on the ley line. Something to think about for next time. Not going to make a difference here, but it's a good lesson to keep in mind to go forward. Yeah, I don't think there's any spot, except for up here, that this detects the ley line. So I guess I save it in case I get a final wall platform. I mean, this is only getting like 2 points better if I keep holding it, so. Or maybe 4 points on the mansions, whatever. Some tiny score. And if I demolish one, it's not going to be any, so. Okay, this will not score the ley line no matter what. I can get 16 in various spots. Yeah. Just for the 16 points. And get some pittance of points out of my hermitage. I think all of the good or decent spots that existed for it previously have been taken. Which is fine. Okay, so there is some value in placing it close to the other stuff because of fish kites. So my ideal fish kite is, unsurprisingly, just kind of centered on my city. Which does kind of look like Hermitage is not getting detected, but that's fine, that's fine. Not even especially close to getting the ley line. Okay, well I think 16 is as high as these suckers go, so place some 16-point huts. I'm trying to figure out what's causing it to be a 15 and not a 16. See if I can build around that. I think it's, well, good enough. And let's 27, 37. I mean, we like 37. It's not going to detect the ley line no matter how I do it. So we'll just build right across that fountain. Most beautiful wall construction. And get a 15. Wow, back-to-back small shape. That's pretty good. So I wonder if these buildings underneath the terrace are just undestroyable. And if so, I wonder how I'm going to get a mansion in here. I guess I can delete this one and then replace it. That is the shape I have. This might actually be better because it's a higher score, I think. But it's also going to be a bit difficult to place. I wonder if it's actually impossible. I wonder if it snapped to grid in a way, or another building has been placed on top of it in a way that is going to completely prevent this. And I think I can undo it. I'm not going to troll us all by testing it, but... Okay, so it would have to be like here. Okay, what if instead I demolish this one? Is it that the wall has clipped inside these buildings? Is it that the buildings have clipped inside each? Well, obviously that's not. Have the buildings clipped inside each other? This is a little fiddly. Okay, well my next plan is to demolish whichever one of these isn't worth very much. And then this is like fewer points, but that doesn't matter at this stage, not a lot. Oh, there we go, okay. Yeah, let's just proceed with that, that's good enough. And then... $74 and... I guess I do need to think about this. So it's 74 and then 44. So how can I do better? If I do 73 and then... try to outdo a 44, because that is still just available to me. And kind of looking like it's not going to happen. I guess the alternative is, so that's a 74, and I could instead do 59 into 56? So 59 into 57 is 116. 74 into 44 is 118. Okay. So not better, long story short. What if I go... $65 into 56? That is slightly better. It's a few points better, yeah. Yeah, and this, yeah, there you go, finally. Little late to the party there, bub. 56, 55. I think it was 46 over here, actually. Yeah, 55 it is. And we are not upset about that. 55 is good. Similarly, I guess I can just take a 16 now. Because I'm not getting leyline detection, and also it doesn't matter. And I do have 8 sealed boons total, which is a number I can be pleased with. We'll hit 95, and is my screen changing color? Sorry, I'm not used to that turning on so early in the day. It's winter season hours. Okay, well, I'm not going to bother figuring out where to place this mansion yet. It doesn't matter. When I could instead just get a 70 and then... I think the 80's not detecting that. Okay. Because that... Troubled. Yeah, I think 80's as good as it's getting. So now it's kind of painful because you can see it's relatively close to charged up. I don't know how true that is. Like this could still be like 30 points, and scoring 30 points on the ley line is challenging, but I don't think one building is doing it, and I also don't think I'm going to find a 36 pointer anywhere to unlock more for me, but I guess it only needs to be a 28. I will spend a moment looking around for a 28. Needs to be like in the heart of this cluster, which is not super possible. I mean, I guess, it's kind of hard. It's challenging because when you look back and you see like this space utilization here, this was really suboptimal in terms of total space utilization. At the time, I think I probably had defensible reasons for each, but like there is totally a way I could have laid these out where this placement would have been legal. And that might still not be good enough, but every single little building variance can end up mattering. It's worth thinking about. In this case, I don't think this mansion's going to be placeable anywhere good, and even if it was, I think the ley line is still a bit too far away from scoring, so we will just take a 15. Alright, that was Island 4. Let's see what we got coming up next. I'm leaving with 8 sealed boons. It's not bad. Getting 7 out of a ley line on this early of an island is acceptable. Up to 35,000 points. And okay, so here I just get to pick whichever I want. Neither of these will give me more boons, and that's all that really matters, so I can just play whichever one I want. I think there is kind of an open question about, for my next ley line, is Aviary going to be much worse than Sauna? It is going to be worse, because Saunas can score ley lines at the end of their detection. Aviary is a good building to have in general, because, it accelerates you through those early stages, but I think, as much as I'd like to play a statue placement luminescent Aviary, this seems like a really good high-scoring island. I think it just doesn't matter, not on the scale that we're thinking about, so I'm going to take the Sauna. That feels so bad, because this is like my ideal island. I love the color scheme. Not that that really matters, but I think saunas are also a lot of fun. They're a more interesting building than Aviary, that's for sure. And because I did not get a Blossom last island, I'm kind of expecting one on this island. But Desert Blossom Sauna is not an ideal combination. Sacred Rocks is just very whatever. I guess there's a small advantage to taking a property, because I won't be offered that property in the future, or not for the next island, pardon. So like for island 6, maybe I have a slightly higher chance of seeing a ley line. Because remember, that's what we need. Like even if this island I just played went well, the 3 islands prior to it, this island 5 goes well, if island 6 isn't a ley line, I'm restarting the run. So yeah, I guess let's play this. And I probably won't record this one. I'm just going to show you all what it looks like and then record right at the end. Ta-da! Okay, totally average, flat, Sacred Rocks Island. You know how it is. That being said, I hope you all enjoyed watching. This has been Islanders New Shores. I have 8 sealed boons at the beginning of Island 5, trying to save up a bunch to compete on this leaderboard because the scores are quite high due to the advanced strategies discovered. So I will be back with more Islanders soon. Hope you all enjoyed. See you here next time.